I slammed the car door so hard the neighbor's dog started barking, my heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon in the August heat. Dad, chill. It's just a barbecue. Benjamin laughed from the porch, but his voice cracked with that teenage edge, the one that said he was trying too hard to act grown up at 19. And there, leaning against the railing in those goddamn tight shorts that hugged every curve like they were painted on, was Michael, his best friend, sweat glistening on his tanned legs, oblivious to the storm he'd just unleashed in my chest. It started innocent enough, or so I told myself that first afternoon, flipping burgers in the backyard while the boys horsed around with a frisbee. But Michael's laugh cut through the sizzle of the grill, low and real, pulling my eyes back to him every time I tried to look away. By sunset, as the fireflies blinked on and the beer cans piled up, I was already drowning in questions I had no right to ask. What the hell is wrong with me? And why does it feel like the ground just shifted under my feet? That barbecue was supposed to be a reset button, a way to shake off the dust of another lonely summer in Elmwood, Ohio, the kind of small-town suburb where everyone knows your business but pretends they don't. I'd been divorced from Sarah for 5 years now, since Benjamin was 14 and old enough to pick sides without it scarring him too deep. She got the house in Cleveland. I kept the ranch style in Elmwood with its creaky porch and the faint echo of family Christmases past. Work kept me busy, senior account manager at a logistics firm in Dayton, crunching numbers for truck routes that spanned the Midwest like veins on a map. It paid the bills, kept the fridge stocked with craft IPAs and Benjamin's endless supply of energy drinks. But it didn't fill the quiet nights when the TV droned on about football scores I couldn't care less about. Benjamin was my anchor, the kid who'd inherited my stubborn jaw and his mom's quick wit. College-bound in the fall, majoring in environmental science at Ohio State, he was all fire and ideals, protesting fracking pipelines on weekends and dragging me to vegan potlucks that left me craving a steak. Michael was the wild card, the friend he'd met freshman year at the community college extension program. Dad, you gotta meet him. He's like the smartest guy I know, but chill, Benjamin had said a month earlier, eyes lighting up in a way that made my chest ache with pride and a little fear. Fear that my boy was spreading his wings too fast, leaving me behind in the nest. So when Michael showed up that Saturday, backpack slung over one shoulder, cargo shorts swapped for those athletic ones that rode high on his thighs, God, I noticed. I chalked it up to the heat wave. 95 degrees, humidity thick as soup. Who wouldn't wear less? We shook hands, his grip firm and warm, calluses from summer construction gigs rough against my palm. Mr. Harlan, Ben's told me all about you. The grill master extraordinaire, he said, flashing a grin that crinkled the corners of his hazel eyes. 20 years old, built like he'd been sculpted for a Patagonia ad. Lean muscles from trail running, sun-bleached hair that fell just so. I mumbled something about calling me David, busied myself with the coals, but the image stuck. Him stretching to catch the frisbee, fabric pulling taut, a glimpse of skin that sent a jolt straight through me. By the time the sun dipped low, painting the sky in bruised purples and oranges, we'd polished off a case of Yingling and swapped stories. Benjamin dominated, ranting about the latest EPA scandal, but Michael listened with this intensity, nodding like every word was gospel. Then he turned to me. What about you, David? Ben says you're the one who taught him to fight for what's right. That civil rights march in D.C. last year. I shrugged it off. Sarah and I had dragged him along, more for the history lesson than the protest. But Michael's gaze held mine a beat too long, like he saw the cracks I hid under flannel shirts and dad jokes. Sounds like you raised a hell of a son, he added softly, and damn if my throat didn't tighten. That night, after Benjamin crashed on the couch mid-Netflix binge, I lay awake in the dark, ceiling fan whirring like accusations. It had been years since I'd let myself feel this, a pull, magnetic and wrong. Not since college, that fumbling summer in Ann Arbor with a roommate whose name I still whispered in dreams. I'd buried it deep after Sarah, after Benjamin, convinced myself it was a phase, a glitch in the straight-laced code of Midwestern manhood. But Michael? He wasn't a glitch. He was a goddamn revelation, and the guilt tasted like ash. The next morning, Benjamin bolted for a shift at the local bike shop, leaving me and Michael alone in the kitchen over coffee. Mind if I hang for a bit? My ride's not till noon, he asked, stirring sugar into his mug with absent flicks. I nodded, too casual, and we fell into easy talk. Books, he loved Kerouac. I confessed to devouring Steinbeck in high school. Music, shared a soft spot for Springsteen, the Nebraska album especially. He was studying graphic design, dreaming of freelancing for indie bands. But his voice dipped when he mentioned home. Mom's great, but Dad, he's old school. Thinks art's a hobby, not a career. The vulnerability there, raw and unguarded, hit me like a freight train. I wanted to reach across the table, tell him he was enough, that dreams like his were the fire that kept the world turning. Instead, I said, follow it anyway. Regret's heavier than failure. He left with a hug, brief, brotherly, but his scent lingered, clean soap and faint citrus, haunting me through a day of spreadsheets and conference calls. By evening, Benjamin was back, oblivious, chattering about a party at the lake. You should come, Dad. Michael's gonna be there. Bring your A game on the volleyball court. I laughed it off, but the thought gnawed. What if I did? What if this spark wasn't a one-off, but the start of something that could unravel everything? Weeks blurred into a rhythm I didn't question at first. Michael became a fixture, study sessions at our kitchen table that stretched into midnight debates over pizza, trail hikes where he'd point out wildflowers I never noticed, his enthusiasm infectious. Benjamin thrived on it, the trio of us like some makeshift family, filling the void Sarah's absence left. But the undercurrent? That was mine alone. I'd catch myself watching him, the way his laugh tilted his head back, exposing the line of his throat, how he'd absently trace patterns on his knee during movies, fingers long and sure. Once, during a thunderstorm that knocked out the power, we sat on the porch with lanterns, rain sheeting down like a curtain. Ever feel like life's just waiting for you to catch up? He murmured, staring into the dark. I swallowed hard, the air electric. All the time, I replied, and for a reckless second, our knees brushed under the blanket. Neither of us moved. The first crack came subtle, a whisper of doubt. Benjamin started noticing my distractions, late to dinner, zoning out during his stories. You okay, Dad? You seem off. I blamed work, the endless merger deadlines, but guilt coiled tighter. Michael, bless him, kept it light, but his texts evolved, from group memes to solo check-ins. Saw this trail map. Want to hit it this weekend? Ben's got that internship thing. Harmless, right? Except my pulse raced every notification, and I'd delete the threads before Benjamin could glance over. Then, the secret slipped. It was Labor Day, the lake party in full swing, bonfire crackling, country rock thumping from a Bluetooth speaker, coolers sweating in the dusk. Benjamin was deep in a beer pong tournament, hollering with his crew, when Michael pulled me aside by the water's edge. David, can we talk? His face was shadowed, serious in a way that twisted my gut. We walked the shore, pebbles crunching underfoot, the lake lapping like uneasy breaths. I think I like someone. Like, really like. But it's complicated. My world tilted. Say it. I thought, irrational. Say it's me, and let's burn it all down. But he continued, voice cracking. He's older. A good guy, but what if it wrecks everything? I froze, heart hammering. Older. Good guy. Me? Or, God, no, someone else. Who? I managed, voice rough as gravel. He looked away, waves mirroring the turmoil in his eyes. Can't say yet. Just needed advice from someone who gets it. The relief warred with devastation. I wasn't the villain in his story, but I wasn't the hero either. We stood there, silent stretching, until Benjamin's call yanked us back. Dudes, your turn. Lose the shirts. It's tradition. That night, stripping to the waist for the game, I saw Michael's gaze flicker, quick, appraising, over my chest, the faded tattoo from my Navy days. Heat flushed my skin, not from the fire. Later, as stars wheeled overhead and the party thinned, he crashed at our place again. I lay awake, replaying his words, the what-ifs piling like storm clouds. Complicated. Yeah, that was us. Fall crept in, leaves turning the streets to fire. Benjamin dove into his internship at a Columbus nonprofit, commuting weekends, leaving gaps Michael filled without asking. We'd grab coffees at the diner on Main, nursing black mugs while he sketched ideas on napkins, album covers inspired by Rust Belt grit, posters for queer rights rallies that made my throat close up. He was out, had been since 16, A badge of courage in a town where rainbow flags still sparked whispers. Ben knows, obviously, he'd say with a shrug. He's cool. Said it'd be weird if I wasn't. My son, the ally. And me? The fraud, smiling through the ache. One crisp October evening, after a hike in the Hocking Hills where fog clung to the ferns like secrets, we sat on a bluff overlooking the valley. The air smelled of damp earth and pine, sunset bleeding red across the horizon. David, he started, voice tentative, you ever regret not chasing what you really wanted? The question hung, heavy as the rucksack at my feet. I thought of Sarah, the white picket lie we'd built, of that college summer, the boy whose touch I'd convinced myself was a mistake. Every damn day, I admitted, staring at my hands. He shifted closer, shoulder brushing mine, warmth seeping through flannel. Then don't. Life's too short for what-ifs. Our eyes met, and time fractured. His lips parted, breath mingling with mine in the chill. I could have closed the gap, tasted the truth we'd both skirted. But Benjamin's face flashed, laughing, trusting, and I pulled back, standing abruptly. We should head down. Getting dark. The hike back was silent torture, his disappointment a mirror to my own. That night, alone with a whiskey neat, I cracked. Dialed an old number from Ann Arbor days, a therapist I'd ghosted years ago. David Harlan, she said warmly when she picked up. It's been a while. I spilled it all. The attraction, the guilt, the fear of losing my son to a truth I couldn't unbury. She listened. Then, you're not broken, David. You're human. But hiding? That's the real betrayal. I hung up resolved, but resolve is fragile as frost. The misunderstanding bloomed from there, innocent at first. Benjamin mentioned offhand, Michael's been weird lately. Distracted. Think it's that crush he won't name. My blood ran cold. Crush? On me? Or had I misread, projected my own mess onto him? I probed gently over breakfast, casual as coffee refills. Everything good with Mike? Benjamin nodded, mouth full of cereal. Yeah, he's solid. Said something about an older guy, though. Hope it's not some creep. The word landed like a slap. Creep. That's me. I thought, forcing a laugh. Well, if it is, you tell him to vet him proper. But doubt festered. Was Michael toying with me, testing boundaries for sport? Or worse, using me as a safe harbor while chasing someone else? I pulled back, canceled a planned movie night with a lame excuse about overtime. His texts went unanswered, piling like unanswered prayers. Then, the backlash. Benjamin cornered me in the garage, grease from an oil change streaking his hands. Dad, what's up with you and Mike? He thinks he pissed you off. Said you ghosted after that hike. Lie or truth? I deflected. Just busy, kid. Work's killing me. But Benjamin's eyes narrowed, that protective glint Sarah used to have. Bull, you're acting like when Mom left. Talk to me. I couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I drove to the lake alone, skipping stones into the black water, each plunk a confession I couldn't voice. Betrayal simmered, not just mine, but the systems, the societies that made love a battlefield. Michael's family, I'd learned in snippets, Dad a factory foreman, Mom a nurse, both devout Baptists who'd prayed away his coming out, but never fully accepted it. They love me, he'd say, but it's conditional, like mine would be if they knew. November brought Thanksgiving, tensions thawing under turkey and pie. Michael showed, tentative, bearing a pecan pie from his mom's recipe. We avoided the bluff moment, fell back into rhythms, board games where he'd cheat shamelessly, drawing laughs from Benjamin. But under the table, his foot nudged mine, accidental, intentional. I jerked away, spilling wine, and the room went still. Clumsy me. I muttered, fleeing to the kitchen for a rag. He followed, cornering me by the sink. David, please. Talk to me. His voice was raw, eyes pleading. I didn't mean to scare you off. That night, I thought maybe you felt it too. The air thickened, dishes clattering in the background like distant thunder. Felt what? I whispered, coward that I was. He stepped closer, heat radiating. This. Us. The way you look at me when you think I'm not watching. Heart thundering, I gripped the counter. Michael, I'm twice your age. Benjamin's dad. This. It's a disaster waiting. Hurt flashed across his face, sharp as shattered glass. So that's it. I'm just some kid phase. He turned, shoulders rigid, and stormed out, leaving me with the sting of truth half spoken. Benjamin found me later, slumped at the table. What the hell, Dad? You made him cry. Cry. The word gutted me. It's complicated. I started, but he cut me off, voice rising. Uncomplicated. Mike's family, too. Whatever you said, fix it. Family. Yeah, that's what we'd built, fragile as it was. I nodded, promising I would, but sleep evaded me, visions of Michael's tears mingling with my own buried regrets. December dusted Elmwood in snow, blanketing the sins of autumn under white forgiveness. I tried fixing it. Texts first, stiff apologies laced with excuses, works insane. Let's grab coffee soon. Michael replied politely, but the warmth was gone, replaced by emojis that felt like barriers. Benjamin mediated, unwittingly, dragging us to holiday lights at the county fair, where we wandered amid twinkling displays, breath fogging the air. See? Festive truce, he joked, munching cider donuts, but Michael's silences spoke volumes. I'd catch him glancing my way, a mix of longing and wariness that mirrored my own turmoil. Therapy helped, in fits and starts. Dr. Ellis, via Zoom from her Ann Arbor office, unpacked the layers. The Navy discharge I'd dodged by playing straight, the marriage I'd clung to like a life raft, the fatherhood that redefined me but never erased the man beneath. You're grieving, David, she said one session, her glasses slipping down her nose. Not just for what could be, but for what you denied yourself. Grieving. It fit, a hollow ache that sharpened around Michael. I started journaling, scribbling feverish entries by lamplight. His smile undoes me. But at what cost? Benjamin's trust? My sanity. The new year loomed, and with it, a decision point. Benjamin's internship wrapped, freeing weekends for bro trips, as he called them. Camping in the Smokies, road tripping to Chicago for a Blackhawks game. Michael was in, always the third wheel that made us whole. But the dynamic shifted. He'd pair off with Benjamin Moore, leaving me the tag-along dad, nursing beers by the fire while they swapped stories of dorm pranks and future conquests. Jealousy bloomed, ugly and unfamiliar, not of their friendship, but of the ease they shared, untainted by the forbidden. It peaked on New Year's Eve, a house party at a mutual friend's split level in Dayton. Bass thumped from speakers, confetti cannons primed for midnight. I'd sworn off drinking after the Thanksgiving spill, sticking to seltzer, but the crowd's energy, couples tangled on dance floors, laughter spiking over toasts, stirred the restlessness. Michael arrived late, wind-swept from the drive, in a fitted sweater that hugged his frame. Our eyes met across the room, a current zipping through the chaos. He made his way over, casual. Hey, long time. For weeks, but it felt eternal. We talked surface, OSU's bowl game odds, the latest Marvel flop, but undercurrents pulled. As countdown neared, the host dimmed lights, and bodies pressed close. Benjamin was elsewhere, flirting harmlessly with a barista from the coffee shop. Michael leaned in, voice low over the din. Can we start over? No pressure. Just friends. Friends. The word stung, but I nodded, clinking my can to his beer. Friends. At midnight, cheers erupted, kisses exchanged. He hugged me, full, enveloping, and whispered against my ear, Happy New Year, David. His stubble grazed my cheek, scent enveloping, and for a heartbeat, I held on tighter than I should. The slip cost me. Benjamin saw, from across the room, his face paling amid the balloons. Later, in the car ride home, Michael opting for an Uber to avoid the drama, my son exploded. What was that? You and Mike, hugging like you're more than bros. Denial surged, hot and defensive. It's nothing, Ben. Just the New Year thing. But he wasn't buying, voice cracking with betrayal. Don't lie to me. I've seen how you look at him. Like Mom looked at that guy from her office. The comparison landed like a gut punch. Sarah's affair, the unraveling we'd both endured. That's not. I'm not. I stammered, but he slammed the car door, storming inside without another word. The fallout was seismic. Benjamin avoided me for days, holing up in his room with textbooks and playlists turned up loud. Texts from Michael dried up, radio silence that screamed accusation. Had Ben told him? Confided the suspicion? I paced the house, ghosts of holidays past mocking from framed photos. Benjamin at 5, gap-toothed grin on my shoulders. Sarah and I at our wedding, young and blind. Now, this, My own unraveling, sparked by a glance, a touch. Desperation drove me to Michael's door one sleety afternoon, unannounced. His family's duplex on the edge of town, Christmas lights still tangled on the porch like forgotten promises. His mom answered, flour-dusted apron, warm but wary. David, Ben's dad, right? Michael's out back, sketching. I found him in the shed, hunched over a drafting table, pencils scattered like fallen soldiers. He startled, hazel eyes widening. What are you? Ben knows. I blurted, no preamble. Or thinks he does. About. Us. The tension. Michael's face drained, pencil clattering down. Shit. I should have said something sooner. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing the cramped space. Look, David, I like you. More than friends. But if it's wrecking your relationship with Ben, the vulnerability cracked me open. It already is, I admitted, voice thick. And it's not just him. My whole life's built on pretending. With your help, I almost stopped. He stopped pacing, close enough to touch. Then don't pretend. With me. The invitation hung, electric. I cupped his face, thumb tracing his jaw, rough, real, and kissed him. Soft at first, tentative, then deepening with years of hunger. His hands fisted my jacket, pulling me in, the world narrowing to his taste. Mint and warmth, promise and peril. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. This changes everything, he murmured. I nodded, terrified and alive. Yeah, it does. But secrets don't stay buried in Elmwood. Word spread, whispers at the diner, side eyes at the grocery. Benjamin confronted us a week later, after spotting Michael's car in the drive too often. Burst into the living room mid-Netflix, face thunderous. I knew it. You're screwing my best friend. The vulgarity shocked, but his pain cut deeper. Michael stood, hands raised. Ben, it's not. Save it. Benjamin yelled, tears streaking. You're both liars. Dad, you're supposed to be the adult. He turned on me, voice breaking. How long? While I was spilling my guts about Mom, you were eye-fucking my friend. The accusations flew, raw and righteous, dredging up wounds I'd thought scarred over. I reached for him, but he flinched. Don't. Just. Don't. He grabbed his keys, stormed out into the night, tires squealing on the slick drive. Michael and I sat in stunned silence, the TV droning some cop show irony. He'll come around, Michael said, but doubt laced his words. I pulled him close, burying my face in his neck. What have I done? The betrayal wasn't just mine. It was a chain reaction, fracturing the family we'd patched together. Spring thawed the ice, but not the rift. Benjamin couch-surfed with cousins in Columbus, texts curt. Need space. Don't call. Michael moved in tentatively, his sketches papering the walls, his presence a balm and a bruise. We navigated the newness. Morning coffees shared over the paper, evenings walking the dog, my old lab, Max, who adored him instantly. Intimacy bloomed slow, tender, hands intertwined on the couch, lazy kisses that spoke volumes without words. But guilt shadowed every touch. What if he never forgives? I'd whisper in the dark, his arms my anchor. Then we build something new, he'd reply fierce. Without the hiding. Yet hiding persisted, in fragments. At work, I dodged questions about that artist kid parking in my spot. Michael's folks invited us for Easter, casual as potluck, but the undercurrent hummed. Dad's stiff handshake, Mom's probing smiles. You two seem close, she said over ham, and Michael's squeeze under the table steadied me. Yeah, Mom. We are. The controversy ignited Memorial Day weekend, a block party turned tribunal. Neighbors, those nosy pillars of Elmwood virtue, pieced it together. The age gap, the son's absence. Mrs. Hargrove from across the street cornered me by the potato salad. David, honey, is it true? You and that young man. With Benjamin not even speaking to you. Her voice carried, heads turning. I stiffened, fork midway to mouth. Private matter, Ellen. But she pressed, saccharine sympathy masking judgment. Just worried for you. Small town, you know. And Ben, poor boy, caught in the middle. Rage simmered, hot and unbidden. Worry about your own lawn, Ellen. Michael, overhearing, stepped in smooth. David's twice the man you give credit for. The party hushed, then buzzed. Whispers of scandal, the gay dad and the twink, as if we were soap opera fodder. We left early, Michael's hand in mine defiant. but the damage festered. That night, over takeout Thai, he broke. I can't do this. The stares, the pity. Maybe we pump the brakes. Panic clawed. No, this is us. Screw them. But doubt crept, a thief in the night. Benjamin's return was the storm's eye. Late June, he showed unannounced, duffel in hand, face gaunt from skipped meals and sleepless nights. Not moving back, he said flatly, dropping into the kitchen chair. Just need my stuff. Michael hovered in the doorway, invisible until Benjamin acknowledged him with a nod. Hey. The air crackled, unspoken accusations thick. I brewed coffee, hands shaking. Ben, talk to me. Please. He stared into his mug, steam rising like ghosts. Why him, Dad? Of all people. My friend. The hurt poured out then, betrayal layered on abandonment, echoes of Sarah's exit. You chose yourself over me. Again. Michael's voice joined, soft. Never over you, Ben. Your family. But Benjamin's laugh was bitter. Family doesn't steal. The argument escalated, voices rising like floodwaters. It's not stealing, it's real. Michael shot back. I intervened, but words failed, tangled in defense and desperation. Benjamin grabbed his bag, paused at the door. Fix this, or lose me for good. The slam echoed, final as a gavel. July's heat wave mirrored the blaze inside me, days blurring into a haze of regret and resolve. Michael and I clung tighter, our bond a fragile raft on churning seas. We'd escape to the lake at dawn, skipping stones and sharing silences that spoke of futures uncertain. Remember that first barbecue? He'd say, toes in the water. You looked at me like I was trouble. I chuckled, pulling him close. You were. Best kind. But Benjamin's absence loomed, a specter at every meal, his empty chair a daily indictment. Dr. Ellis urged confrontation. Write him a letter. No filters, the truth, warts and all. So I did, pages spilling like confessionals. Son, I failed you. Not by loving Michael, but by hiding who I am. It wasn't about choosing him over you. It was reclaiming the man I buried for us. Forgive me, or don't. But know I love you always. I mailed it. No return address, a leap into the void. Michael's own secrets surfaced then, adding weight to our scales. One humid evening, post-shift from his graphic design internship in Cincinnati, he came home hollow-eyed, collapsing onto the couch with a sigh that carried oceans. Dad called, he said, voice flat. Found out about us, from the block party gossip mill. I sat beside him, hand on his knee. And he leaned into me, weary, said I'm disgracing the family, that if I don't straighten up, I'm cut off. No more rent help, no holidays. The old wound of his coming out, reopened. Rage boiled, for the father who'd conditionalized love, for a world that weaponized it. We drove to his parents that night, uninvited, the truck's headlights cutting fog like resolve. His mom met us at the door, tear-streaked, pulling Michael into a hug before the lecture could land. Dad loomed in the living room, arms crossed, face carved from granite. This you're doing, Harlan? Corrupting my boy. The accusation landed like a haymaker. I stepped forward, calm as I could muster. No, sir. Loving him. That's mutual. The room tensed, air thick with unspoken scripture. Michael spoke then, voice steady. Dad, it's not corruption. It's me, finally whole. A beat, then his father's shoulders sagged, defeat in the exhale. Just, don't lose yourself, son. No apology, but a crack in the armor. Progress, bittersweet. Back home, we celebrated small. Ice cream from the parlor on Main, spoons clinking in bowls as fireflies danced outside. You're brave, I told him, lacing fingers. He smiled, that crinkle-eyed one that undid me. We both are. Intimacy deepened, not in frenzy but quiet exploration. Mornings tangled in sheets, tracing scars and stories on skin. Evenings cooking pasta, arguing over playlists. His indie folk against my classic rock. It felt like home, the kind I'd never known. But controversy brewed beyond our walls. A coworker, Tom from logistics, cornered me in the break room, coffee mug steaming like his judgment. Heard about you and the kid, Dave. Bold move in this Bible Belt. The smirk grated. Mind your lane, Tom. But whispers followed. HR emails about professional conduct, sideways glances in meetings. I documented, braced for fallout. But Michael's support armored me. Screw him. We're real. Yet fear not. What if it cost my job, our stability? Benjamin's tuition loomed, half funded by my 401k. The misunderstanding crested mid-August, a bomb detonated by omission. Benjamin texted out of the blue. Coffee? Neutral ground. My heart soared. Reconciliation? And I agreed. The campus cafe near OSU. He arrived disheveled. Summer job 10 fading. Eyes shadowed. Read your letter. He started, stirring sugar endlessly. Hurts, but gets it. Kinda. Relief flooded, tentative. We talked haltingly, his classes, my work woes, until he leaned in, voice low. Mike told me everything. The hike, the party. Said you kissed him first. Lie? Or truth twisted? Panic spiked. Ben, it wasn't. Save it. His face hardened, betrayal reigniting. He said you pursued him, made him doubt our friendship. That you guilt him into it. The words twisted like knives. Michael, painting me the predator? No, impossible. That's not how. But he stood, chair scraping. I came to forgive, Dad. But this? You're the creep Ellen warned about. He left, coffee untouched, my world fracturing anew. I raced home, confrontation brewing. Michael was sketching at the table, innocent until my voice cracked the air. What the hell did you tell him? His confusion melted to horror as I spilled Benjamin's version. David, I swear, I told him the truth. That you pulled back first, that we both wanted it. Doubt poisoned the space between us. Then why twist it? Accusation flew, ugly. He stood, eyes flashing. Maybe he twisted it. Or you're projecting your guilt. The barb hit home, was I? The fight escalated, voices echoing off walls, old insecurities unearthed. You're ashamed of us, he yelled. Of me. I recoiled, the truth stinging. I'm scared, Michael. Of losing everything. He packed a bag that night, tears silent. Fix your head, David. Then maybe fix us. The door clicked shut, softer than Benjamin's slam, but devastation equal. Alone, I spiraled. Therapy emergency session, Dr. Ellis's voice a lifeline. Misunderstandings thrive in silence. Chase the truth. I called Benjamin. Voicemail. We need to talk. All three. No reply. Michael same. Days bled into isolation. Max my only companion, whining at empty bowls. The climax shattered on Labor Day Redux. The lake party a cruel echo. I'd gone alone, seeking solace in familiar waves, when voices carried, Benjamin's, laughing with a group by the fire. I approached, heart in throat. Ben. He turned, surprise softening to wariness. Dad. Before words formed, Michael emerged from the crowd, duffel slung, face ashen. David? What? The trio converged, electric. Benjamin's eyes darted, realization dawning. You both came? For me? No, the party was coincidence, but fate's cruel joke. Tensions ignited, accusations hurled. Michael claiming Benjamin's version was spite, Ben denying, me caught in crossfire. You lied. Ben shouted at Michael. To protect you. Michael countered. I roared over them. Enough. This isn't about blame, it's about love. Messy, hard-won love. The dam broke then, raw confessions spilling. Benjamin admitted twisting words in anger, lashing out to hurt. Michael owned his silences, fears of inadequacy. I bared it all, the buried past, the terror of rejection. We collapsed by the water, spent, the fire's glow casting long shadows. I miss you, Dad, Ben whispered finally. Miss this. Michael nodded, hand finding mine. Family's not perfect, but it's ours. Healing wasn't linear. September brought therapy trios, Dr. Ellis mediating our fractured circle, unpacking layers like onion skins. Benjamin thawed, dinners resuming with stilted jokes that bloomed to laughter. Michael and I rebuilt, slower now, boundaries respected. No overnights till Ben greenlit, touches chased in company. Work stabilized, Tom's barbs ignored, HR deeming it personal, not professional. October's leaves mirrored our mending, vibrant, fleeting. We hiked the bluff again, the three of us, fog lifting to reveal the valley's sprawl. Full circle, Michael said, Benjamin clapping my back. Yeah, I agreed, chest full. Love, it turned out, wasn't a zero-sum game. It multiplied, if you dared let it. November's chill settled gentle, a reminder that winters pass. Benjamin stayed through breaks, his presence bridging gaps I'd feared permanent. We'd grill indoors, electric skeins sizzling burgers while he grilled me. Lightly, on the boyfriend dynamic. Michael fits seamless, his sketches now adorning Benjamin's dorm walls, a visual apology turned alliance. You're good for him, Mike. Ben admitted one night over poker, cards fanned like peace offerings. Makes him less grumpy. Laughter followed, genuine, mending the tears. My own depths plumbed further in solo sessions. Dr. Ellis guided. You've reclaimed your narrative, David. Now live it. I came out selectively. At work, a quiet email to HR affirming my truth, met with supportive nods and a pride flag pin from a colleague I'd underestimated. Neighbors? Some thawed. Mrs. Hargrove even dropped off pie, mumbling, live and let live, I suppose. Others? Their stares lingered, but I walked taller, Michael's hand in mine a shield. The unexpected high came Thanksgiving, our table fuller than before. Michael's parents joined, tentative bridge builders, Dad carving turkey with gruff precision, Mom quizzing Benjamin on classes. Toasts circled, to second chances, to chosen kin. Later, as pie steamed and football droned, Michael pulled me to the porch, breath fogging in the crisp air. This, he said, gesturing inside, is what I dreamed of. I kissed him slow, porch light haloing us. More than dreamed. Earned. Winter deepened, trials not absent but transformed. Michael's internship soured, boss poaching designs, crediting none, sparking a fury that had him pacing our kitchen at midnight. It's theft, he raged, fists clenched. I held him, steady. Fight it. You're the talent. We lawyered up pro bono through a queer advocacy group, the battle dragging into January, but victory tasted sweet. Credit restored, a glowing reference. Through it, Benjamin texted solidarity. Kick ass, Mike. Dad's got your back. The support wove us tighter. Personal storms hit too, my 40th looming, a milestone that unearthed vanities. Over the hill, I joked to Michael one gray afternoon, mirror mocking the laugh lines. He spun me, hands framing my face. Beautiful. Every line a story. His touch erased doubts, but deeper fears surfaced. Longevity. The gap that Ellen's whispers amplified. What if I can't keep up? I confessed in bed, his head on my chest. Then we slow. Together. Wisdom beyond his years, humbling. Benjamin's spring break brought the next conflict, subtle as spring thaw. Home from OSU, he confided over beers on the patio. Seeing you too. It's weird, but good weird. Makes me think about my own stuff. His gaze drifted, hesitant. There's this guy in my poli-sci class. Smart, activist type. But coming out again. After all this drama. Vulnerability echoed Michael's youth, my own buried spring. No rush, son. But when you're ready, we've got you. He nodded, relief evident, and for the first time, our roles inverted. He the seeker, me the guide. The climax's echo rippled in April, an unforeseen betrayal from afar. Sarah called, out of the blue, voice honeyed with hindsight. Heard about your situation. Ben mentioned in passing. Mentioned? The word chilled. Had he outed me to her? She continued, probing. Happy for you, really. But 40 and playing house with a kid half your age? Careful, David. Patterns repeat. The dig landed, dredging affair ghosts. I hung up seething, confronting Benjamin that evening. You told your mom? About Michael. His face fell, guilt instantaneous. Not like that. She asked why I was home less, I said. Family stuff. She guessed. Misunderstanding, again, his protectiveness clashing with my privacy. Dad, I didn't mean. Anger flared, words sharp. Boundaries, Ben. We're mending, not airing dirty laundry. He retreated, hurt mirroring mine. The house tensed till Michael mediated over breakfast waffles. We're all fumbling, he said gently. Talk it out. We did. Tears, apologies, Sarah's call dismissed as her projection. Laughter returned by lunch, syrup sticky and sweet. Summer solstice marked our first anniversary, not of the kiss, but the barbecue spark. We celebrated low-key. Picnic at the lake, frisbee tossed with abandon, Benjamin officiating a mock vow exchange. Do you, old man, promise to loosen up? Ben teased. And you, artist, vow to keep him young? Michael's eyes shone. I do. As dusk fell, fireflies winking like stars fallen earthbound, Benjamin wandered off for a call, leaving us alone. 1 year. I murmured, drawing him near. Feels like always. His kiss was sunset warm, the most romantic horizon I'd known. Waves lapping soft, his hand in mine, the world vast and welcoming. Yet depth demanded sacrifice. Michael's freelance dreams pulled him to Chicago auditions, agencies scouting his portfolio. 6 months, maybe, he said over diner pie, fork midway. Anxiety knotted my gut. Long distance. He nodded, resolute. For us? Worth it. Benjamin backed him. Go chase it, man. Dad'll survive. The goodbye was airport raw, July heat shimmering runways, his hug fierce. Write me, he whispered. Every day. Letters flowed. Mine typed missives on company letterhead, his sketched envelopes bursting color. Benjamin bridged, weekend visits turning to bro road trips, keeping the home fires lit. Fall returned, leaves a kaleidoscope of letting go. Benjamin came out officially over Labor Day brunch, his poli-sci guy, Alex, a lanky idealist with a megawatt smile. Proud of you, I said, throat tight. Michael beaming via video from his Windy City crash pad. The family expanded, inclusive, unbreakable. By December's solstice, Michael returned, not for good, but for us. Gig secured at a boutique firm, portfolio lauded. The airport reunion was chaos, Benjamin tackling him in baggage claim, me holding back till his eyes found mine. Home, he breathed, collapsing into my arms. That night, under the same porch lights, we vowed again, no mocks, just us. Through the mess, I said. And the beauty, he echoed. Life's not fairy tale, conflicts linger, work stresses, family frictions, the world's casual cruelties. But we've built resilience, a tapestry of forgiveness and fire. Benjamin thrives, double majoring with Alex as study partner. Michael designs for causes, queer youth campaigns that echo his scars. Me? I live authentically, flannel softer, heart open. On misty autumn mornings in the park, golden leaves drifting, we walk hand in hand, unspoken gazes weaving futures. It's not perfect, this American dream remade, flawed, fierce, profoundly human. But it's ours, and in the quiet intimacy, I find peace. The thoughts that followed that first day, they've become the story we live, page by tender page.